What is up, my dogs? It's your boy, Mike Mason, here in the lovely morning of Colorado Springs. We're pre recording a really special show tonight, guys. I'm so excited to have with us Tito Byrne, the owner of the Byrne Gallery, and the person who has really been, part of this Pipe Classic thing that we've been covering the past month. I'm really excited to talk to him. I'm really excited to introduce my co host, the lovely Carrie Strope.
Hey there, Trixie and I are both ready for this special event. So
Yeah,
excited
yeah.
to be here.
Yeah, I got Trixie laying in the sun back there, we can see.
Yep.
Seems to be enjoying the daytime adventure here. Good stuff. Heck yeah. All right, well, it's great to have you with me. I appreciate you working for the
I'm
Stoke Dogs. Hell yeah.
glad to be here. I'm really excited that our special guest is here with us this evening slash
Right.
this morning.
And yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and introduce the man of the month, really. I can't say how much I appreciate you for making, all this stuff we've been able to enjoy possible and for what you've made possible over the past. I mean, we're about to do the 15th edition, but how many years? What year was the first one? Hi, Tito's. I'm too excited, man. Tell us a little about yourself if you don't mind, man.
Yeah, of course. Um, this will be the 17th year that in September I'll be hosting a competitive pipe making competition.
I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great. Heck yeah. And yeah, what year did the Pipe Classic actually start?
The very first one was in 2006.
2006. Okay. Gosh, man. In my mind, you were gonna be like 1998. It was private or something. I'm just playing. Very good. And yeah, so it was the 14th year that we've been watching. Tonight we're gonna enjoy a demo from Certo. I'm really excited to share that, and just man, I'm thrilled to have you. I can't express my appreciation enough for having me out and being able to share so much from these incredible artists. And man, so how's it going in the lead up to 15?
I'll tell you what, it the intensity of the situation never seems to ever subside. No matter how many years I do it, every single year, for about like 2 months before the competition, every morning I wake up and I'm just like not sure why I feel just kind of unsettled, and it's always Pipe Classic.
Yeah.
Starts, by the time it starts, I feel like I've already been through like 10 classics.
Okay.
So it's intense. It's really intense because we take it really seriously.
For sure. Yeah, I know you do. And, like the best events, that's how the organizers seem to be. They really do have this anxiety level leading into it because they have a million details to cover and nothing is ever perfect in this world. So, something's going to, like, so you're just waiting for the shoe to drop. I get it. It's one of the reasons I appreciate people like you so much, who put their heart and their mind and maybe even their sanity on the line a little bit to make these special things possible.
That's nice of you to say, but I mean, come on, let's be honest. I mean, what you do is
Aw.
I most important thing. I mean, when I was coming up as a pipe maker, I think of how cool it would have been to have something like Torch Talk, and I know it's a labor of love. So I hope the scene appreciates you as much as
Aw.
I do.
Well, thanks,
I think
man. That means a
super
lot
special.
to hear. Heck yeah. Well, man, it's so great to have you. We can talk a little bit more about this over some footage if you'd like, if you're down. Cool,
Yeah, of
man.
course.
All right, I'm ready to do that. Thank you for the kind words, though, man. I really do appreciate that.
My pleasure, man.
Heck yeah. And this thing that I do, it's I'm no hero, man. A lot of companies and events, they all pitch in and kind of help me accomplish this mission of making our world a little smaller and doing this, high quality process documentation. So man, we're just going to take a minute and acknowledge these cats, Pipe Classic included. It really is an incredible celebration of glass pipes, and it's been so great to be able to share these, kind of in-depth looks. We've been talking about the movies over the past month, and how those give you the, kind of a much more comprehensive view of what's actually happening there, whereas I'm a lot more focused on, maybe what it's like to stand there for a couple of hours or 12 hours really because we're condensing a lot. But man, I'm telling you that the way it's set up, the way everything has to be made there, we're gonna see some construction work tonight, guys. The pipe, the setup is pure and really beautiful, and you just go out of your way to make sure it's really fair and really proper. I do appreciate it, man. That celebration of glass pipes thing isn't that's not just like some fancy words.
Yeah, for sure. And it's all about that from scratch element. That's what's been so challenging to preserve over all these years, because it's so easy to say like, okay, well, you can start with this or that, and then it just opens up all the floodgates to all sorts of different techniques and things, which really just erode away at that from scratch element. And so it's extremely limiting, and it's really, really difficult, but it's just how it has to be.
Yeah, yeah. And what it's inspired, though, you've got Kurt B in there, the whole automated sandblast. Like these folks, like when they have a vision, they figure out a way to accomplish it there in the gallery, and it puts on an amazing show. Yeah, one day, Tito, I looked over the balcony. I was like, "What is this guy doing, man?"
Well, that's classic Vermont for it.
Yeah, man, that's exactly what I said. I was like, "This is some Vermont shit right here." And
That guy probably does that every day.
he probably does, yeah. And here's Paticus doing his thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
and
man.
this year I'm gonna have him downstairs. I hated how he was upstairs last time, so this time he'll be right in the party.
Very good. Yeah, it's cool. All these parties were so amazing. I've been telling the dogs about what an amazing time all of these were, and they're just really well coordinated. This is what bathrooms are like in Vermont. And homies, yeah, would there be a live stream this year, I take it?
Well, yes, absolutely, but we're actually taking it to a whole nother level. So we decided to not do the movie this year.
Oh, interesting.
We feel like the movie just has run its course. First of all, it's kind of like comical that we do it.
Holding it so light. Yeah. I kind of wired you.
So we, what the fuck were we talking about now? I was thinking,
The movie we're going to live stream,
Yeah,
and we're doing
so-
things different.
yeah, so we're gonna do it differently, and we loved our favorite aspect of the cyber events that we did during COVID was the addition of the Bracket Breakdown Live, and that's the TV show that we produce that covers the action.
Yeah.
And it's kind of inspired from like a ESPN kind of angle, like covering a sporting event almost. And so we've decided to go all in with that this year instead of the movie. So during the Classic, all week long, there'll be this evening show that'll cover the action,
Awesome.
and we'll have live interviews and all sorts of insights into the event, and it's going to be really, really exciting.
Wow, that is so great. Those were really well produced. Will Raj be involved, I hope, or
Yeah, same host, Eli and
Same
Raj.
host.
We got Raj is the host who's there to connect it to the glass scene, and Eli is there. He's kind of like a local celebrity who is big in the cannabis scene here, and so he's there to bridge the gap to everyone else.
very good.
One
All right.
question: will what was it? Ron Bergendab be in attendance this year? Do we know this yet?
Well, Ron Bergen, the Salt will be actually competing in this year's event. And,
yeah.
whether or not Ron Bergendabs is making an appearance, I guess that is going to be yet to be seen.
It'll be a surprise.
Right. We can only hope.
But I just
Yeah.
have to say, real quick that Salt coming back to the Classic finale meant a lot to me. He was one of my favorites, most inspirational, and he was such a big part of Pipe Classic, and he's been gone for a really long time. It's been years and years since we've seen him here, and him coming back for the finale is great because let's remember too, he did finish second, and actually I have to break from just talking about Saul here and talk about the whole field, because this is the first Pipe Classic I've ever truly believed that it's anyone's game. I mean, any 12 of those competitors can win it, and super special.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, not to get away from the glass here, homies, what you're seeing is a splash carb cap being made. So we set up this bubble, and now we're seeing these really he needed a little more space there so we could kind of pull that nozzle down and marver that down a little bit to get that nice, that carb cap nozzle that folks like, and now he's gonna, get the right shaping on this, and we're gonna actually see him cut into it and begin some of these. He's got a bunch of tricks up his sleeve to achieve this flowing water aesthetic, and we'll get to see some of that here kind of in miniature. And then we're going to get to see the much larger pieces that comprised the 10 moments of this marble dropping into water, this incredible piece. So, yeah, that I just wanted to give you guys just a little context of what's happening here at the moment. And yeah, but no, the field this year, yeah, it's completely stacked. I'm super excited for some of the newcomers, like Windstar and Hick Dog. These are people I've kind of gotten to know through the filming thing, and yeah, it's neat. It's like a true legends, and then just some of the people who I've seen how they roll in competitions. They're very serious, and they're gonna bring some heat.
Yeah, I loved watching Certo. During the actual event, I feel like I was, I'm running around all over the place making sure everything's okay. So I didn't get to watch the whole thing, and that's been cool watching this footage you put together. And his performance was just nothing short of spectacular. He truly understood what it takes to win a Pipe Classic. It's definitely not enough to just make a cool piece. You've got to wrap the whole crowd into it and have everyone truly believe in you, and also make an intense artistic statement at the same time. It's really difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
And now the judging, I'm sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the judging all takes place by the folks that are there, and it's nothing like, it's not a panel of judges. It's kind of your peers, consumers, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because, we toiled for years in the beginning of how to judge this thing. And I felt that having a panel of judges would just be unfair, because our industry is just too young. Everybody knows everybody so intimately that, how can you have a panel of judges judge their peers in this intimate setting? It just didn't seem possible. It didn't seem fair anyway. So my solution to that was just, to have a public judging. So everybody who attends and buys a judge's pass has a vote, and the cream always rises to the top in that scenario.
Yeah, I like the setup there.
And
judging
also,
panels. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but also I have to say, because this is a really important part of it too, is that every single judge's pass is numbered. So when we take the actual votes, it's a very precise procedure. We know exactly who every single person voted for. There's no gray area at all. It's extremely black and white, and very transparent in that way.
That's awesome.
No gerrymandering here.
Yeah, and it becomes a thing, and there's all these other elements, Sometimes I wonder in other things if, like, how it might not even be that they're friends. It might be an element of they respect them returning to a competition, or they've seen something from them over the years, Like, there's all these other, I'm not saying they're invalid or anything. It just puts all these extra, all this extra math into the equation. Whereas here it's like everybody who was actually there really saw this happen. Some of them can bring their preconceived whatever into it, of course, but it's not like you've got 4 people and a little bit of a skew like that can make a big skew in the results. So yeah, no, I like the setup. It seems like you've settled into something, that really does reward, the attendees and the artists with a fresh kind of thing.
What I found? So what I found super, super interesting was that when an artist comes with, and I'm definitely not going to say names, but because this is repeated year after year, by the way, but when a competitor comes and they bring a whole posse with them, that posse hardly ever votes for the person that they came with.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you've got the data on this. You could probably ruin some moments at a bar. Your boy voted for the other guy, right? Yeah, but okay, so to the glass for a moment. Yeah, so you guys saw he cut these notches in to form the individual, water coming out, and it's a combination here of tweezing and gravity, and it's just exquisite to see it happen. It's this guy's really good, and we also saw that trick that you guys know I love, rolling something against the marver while you're able to ream it from the inside. So he got it to something actually really precise, but now he's able to tween them out, and you know
And the fact that he used that one color allowed him to just rail through piece after piece, and it was really impressive.
yep, great color for it, but also a forgiving one too. So yeah, that's
Smart.
yeah, for sure, absolutely.
For everybody that's going to ask, do we know what color this is?
I think it might just be a light blue cobalt. It's not like the dark cobalt. There's like a light cobalt china you can get. So yeah, I think it's import. Because I saw him break. We'll see him with some giant pieces of it. And you're just not getting stock tubing like that from any company. So yeah, but I mean, say what you will, man. I love that import cobalt. That stuff is generally butter and rock solid. Just no issues. It's usually pretty good glass. Some of those colors are hit or miss. Now here's a trick that we've seen on the show before. He pulled that out to a hollow peak, and now he's just going to glob over it, and essentially how deep you go with that glob determines exactly where it's going to break open. So it's just creating this really distinct stress line, and yeah, you can just snap it from there, and now he's got that really fine opening. Nice little, tubulated or whatever you want to call it there on the end. I might have been guilty of making some carb caps that have that like nipple look. And unless you're Blitzkrieg, you don't want to be messing with that, whatever. I don't know if you guys have been watching the promos for his
Yes, I've seen a
titty
few
show
of
or
those.
something. They're
Yes.
spectacular. They are something special.
Straight from the 80s.
Yep. And then there he is, even using that paddle to kind of clean it up there. So now it's got that really nice flush end. And I like that. That's like this combination of that cleanliness and the part that's kind of important, but then the rest of it has that beautiful organic look. Cool thing here too is that offset punny, kind of brought that down so it was centered enough to be able to do these clean moves. I just thought this was a really fun way to start the demo, and we're going to get into a bit more, the much more scaled up versions of this with multiple techniques to achieve it. It's pretty dope. All right, so just cleaning up that place that he had put the handle there for the end.
I remember I suggested to Certo that he compete in Pipe Classic years before he actually ended up in it.
Okay.
It's really surreal footage of him actually in it after, watching him hone his style for so many years and then seeing him actually throwing down here. It's cool.
That's great. Yeah. Some of these guys, I don't know, maybe it's, he wanted to really be in the position to do what we saw here, that takes time. But yeah, guys, I thought I would share some of the construction here. This piece is incredible. And he used these sheets of, what kind of glass would you call this, Carrie?
Well, I mean, sheet glass, yeah.
It's just sheet glass. Okay, cool. Carrie's our expert. And Carrie's also our cutting expert. She is literally a championship glass cutter. If Pipe Classic had a cutting competition, Carrie could be in there. She could be taking home the cup or whatever.
Perhaps.
Yeah. What's that?
By the way, too, the environment where he's in right now doing this, he's in a really raw environment. Like, so he's in just the basement of the burn gallery, which, it's hardly a nice studio space to be doing your work in. Let's just say it's very raw.
Yeah, for sure.
Did he just cut all of that glass down?
Well, yeah, he cut all of that up there, but now he's taking it down for the real construction. And here's a little journey down. There's Tasha from Stoked leading the way. She was like, "I'm not gonna miss this. It's going on the Instagram or whatever." She's really good with that stuff. Yeah, she's the best.
And this is we give him the space, but there's not much to work with beyond that.
Yeah, for sure. No, but he clearly made it work. He just needed a table and a chair in a minute here.
By the way, too, the whole time he's doing that, there's people offering him, whippets and dabs, and like,
Of course.
possible to distract him from what he's doing. So I commend him for keeping focused.
Yeah, exactly. And right. That's like the 13th man creeping up live or
Always
whatever.
there.
Yeah. And if you maybe we could tell them the story of that. It's like the additional competitor, but you could probably explain it better than I can.
It's like the legend of the 13th competitor, which is the scene in the party itself, which I've seen take down the best of them. I mean, literally the competitors, because remember the heats are separated into two separate heats. So they go, the first heat starts at 4 o'clock and goes till 10, and then the following morning they show up a little earlier, but the heat starts at 9 and goes till 3, and so they have to survive an entire night with that 13th competitor. And some of them are really disciplined. They just go right back to their house, to where they're staying, and just, stay real focused. And others just dive right in. And the Pipe Classic party never stops. I mean, it goes 24 hours a day for the entire week. So if you don't remain focused there, it can suck you in, and it will just take you down and shred you to bits. And what comes back the next day is not competition caliber.
I gotcha. Yep. What percentage of artists would you say have had an encounter with the 13th man?
I would say easy 20% every single.
That's what's up.
These two or three competitors usually have to really navigate that. Which, by the way, if you go later in the week, because it starts on Monday and then the last one's on Monday, if you go later in the week, that gets so much harder. I can't even explain it. Monday, when it begins, it's a relatively small crowd, and the party's super mellow. You get there on like Thursday and Friday night. I mean, these are epic parties that you don't want to miss. I mean, I like to throw parties people don't forget. So if you get sucked into that, it doesn't help your competition, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. It's like, it's all very fair, but you're also a bit Willy Wonka-ish in that you set up all the candy devices for them to, get sucked into the basement or whatever kind of thing.
That's true. There's an old Pipe Classic saying that says, "Never eat the Teddy Grahams."
Yeah, that seems like a good. That seems like it could soak up a good dose.
Oh yes.
I mean, the party that people will never forget kind of sounds like the party that everybody's going to forget.
Yeah.
Be surprised.
Yeah. So
there
here
needs to be a documentarian.
Well, I think too, everybody is so heightened because Pipe Classic is so intimate. So when you're at these parties, you're hanging out, you're sitting right next to Certo. He's just sitting right next to you. And, there's not that many people. So it's a very intimate experience. Right. And so people are in situations they might not have thought would happen or have happened before. And then when they do, they want to seize the moment. And
exactly.
You think the moment doesn't give a fuck about tomorrow.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah, and the parties really are, man. They were all so well planned. It was just, and you got the flyers that go out every day, so you know exactly where they are. It's just super, super well done. Oh, shout outs to Pyroscopic there, man, Connor. Fucking amazing photographer and another documentarian, of our industry. Yeah, really cool cat. All right, so here, homies, we saw one of these giant pieces of that stock tube, and I just thought y'all might like to see the way that he straightened out that point and kind of reinforced the shoulder. And this is something that, most people who work off of points take the time to do. You can just, by condensing that area right at the transition from the handle to the piece, it gives you a really clean place to disconnect it. And it allows you to really straighten it out so that, if you're not working straight, a lot of things are just not going to happen right because you can't put even heat into the piece. So for all of these reasons, I thought you guys might like to see that. And it's also like on this scale, it's really easy to see the mechanic involved, And there's different people go about it different ways. If you watch like Micah Evans on like the Corning demos and some of my own footage of him, Santini, all the Venetian dudes kind of will do this and neck the point one way or another. And they, the guys who neck the points are usually setting up a super clean place to open a cup or, something like that. They can diamond shear down. But here's a point. Yeah, and if you really can just, if you're new to points, just kind of watch that timing. He didn't just rush through it. If you pull these points too fast, you're going to thin that handle out. And it's like most of the criticisms I see associated with points just come from folks who never really took the time to pull them right. And don't get me wrong, man. I learned with Roger Paramore, like the blow tube king, like don't even be talking about points around him. But so some people have very strong opinions, and they're not wrong about those things. If your process is more efficient with blow tubes, great. But if you like points, just take the time to get the mechanics of them proper, and then a point will happily support a giant heavy tube. You can just sit there and hold it, and it's not flexing at all. So if you're not achieving that, just think about the speed and the amount that you pull. I think the rule of thumb is like double the diameter for two nice handles, So if this were a 60 millimeter tube, he'd want to heat up 120 millimeters of it to give him two really nice thick handles. And there's that necking again. And all right, I'm gonna shut up about points now. That's everything I know about points. No, I'm just playing.
It's funny that you bring up points. Is so when we first birthed Pipe Classic, the idea of it, 100 years ago, it came from the fact that we were doing proto in our shop, and we were just trying to make it more fun, and so we'd have competitions between ourselves, and one of the competitions we'd have was the straightest point competition.
Oh, nice.
So you pull your point, and then you put it on a bench roller, and then you have a pair of calipers, and whoever would wobble the least would win. So I think it's
yeah. All right, so you guys saw him soak some really nice heat into this blank, and now he's pulling it out, drawing it out, and you can just see how even that heat is in there with, the lighting and such, and that's what you want if you're going to make those moves, It's they can seem so hard in the beginning, but when, your handles are even, your heat is even, the glass, man, it just wants to be your friend and be nice and happy. And all right, so here we're seeing him make a Maria that's going to form one of the base of the drops. And so he's starting hollow, and then I think he's going to close it up to get this nice, thin, crisp Maria. So really cool trick there just to think about, like you don't always have to just do a hollow or a solid Maria. You can kind of start one way, thin that glass out a bit, and then bam, look at that fucking thing. Majorly crisp. I love that point contest though, man. That is, yeah. Will there be any of these side contests in the finale?
No. The finale is just all about these 12 competitors. That's it. That's what the whole event's about.
All right, we're not going to put anybody's points to the test.
Somebody else.
The tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Somebody. But though this might be the last Pipe Classic, but I like that it's spawned all these other competitions, and I think it's cool. Somebody else should do the straightest point competition, because I think it'll be a good idea.
All right, no, it's a great idea, man. I'll definitely try and pass that on to the dogs involved with competitions, because yeah. All right, so guys, what you saw there, he kind of got one side hot and just gave it some rolling in the marver there just to bring that diameter down a bit relative to the other side. And there's Joe Peters in the background we saw last week.
Oh, the heckling, by the way, that goes on during Pipe Classic is epic.
Yeah.
So, you've got it really nicely centered on Certo, but no doubt there's at least two artists on either side of him talking shit to him the entire time.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great crowd.
This is the real glass blowing reality show, the first, right?
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about releasing finally this, because we shot a trailer. We were, this was supposed to be a TV show, years and years ago. We shot a pilot. We pitched the whole idea. We had this thought that it would be 12 separate Pipe Classics all around the country at various studios,
Oh,
and
wow.
then like a three-person competition, and the winner of each one would go to the final episode, which was the 13th episode, and that would be the actual Pipe Classic. And we made an actual trailer, and we set up the architecture for the whole thing, but never got picked up.
I
I
want to
see.
see this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll release that. We'll release that for sure in the next week or two.
Very cool. How long ago was that? What year, if you remember?
That must have been like 9 years ago at this point.
All right. Yeah. Because now, man, all these networks are
Right?
desperate for content. You know, like the one that that new one is on, man. That
Altered
like
TV.
they would have probably picked that up in 2 seconds nowadays. Yeah, you're ahead of your time, my friend.
Oh well.
All right, so here's this same technique again. You know, getting it open and then cutting it. And you can see some of them are cut smaller, some of them are cut bigger to set up that aesthetic of, you know, the drop like gravitating to one side or whatever you want to call it. I'm not like a water physicist, but
Yeah, but the flow of the piece was just spectacular. I mean, obviously, doing that with glass is so hard to really mimic motion in a really effective way, and he just nailed it.
Yep. It really is, man. You know, it's like he's so good at capturing these things, and he came into it with that. That's something he's been doing in his pieces for years now, and the spray bottles with this, you know, it's and it really is impressive.
I agree.
But you know, it's like you said, it's like that's not enough. It was that he
No,
tied
no.
it together into this amazing concept that, you know, obviously resonated with the audience.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He really understood the idea of pipe classing and what it takes, and that's a lot of why I designed it in the way where each competitor gets 2 years to compete, which is why Icky and Windstar have a big, and Hick Dog have a big disadvantage because this is their first year. But
Yep.
Because the event was so odd and so unique, I was like, everybody really needs 2 years. The first year just to see what it's like, and then the second year to come back and really know what to expect. And so, Certo did great.
Yep.
He understood what it took, and most do at this point. I've seen the evolution of it over the years, and at this point, everybody gets it who's in Pipe Classic. So this year, I mean, wow! I mean, I can't wait to see these 12 pieces.
Right, yeah, they're gonna be incredible. Like, you know, some of them I'm just like, I don't know what they're gonna do. Some of them I know, like, I mean, if Hick Dog doesn't make some kind of unbelievable scale kind of construction, I suspect he's gonna do something unique. But I can, you know, there's just certain things that they're so good at, so you know they're gonna be involved. But like, what will the concept be, and you know, what new direction will they show us? It's fucking exciting.
I remember when Pipe started trending smaller. I feel like it was maybe like, I don't know, 7 years ago or something like that, and Pipe started trending smaller, and that affected Pipe Classic that year. But then right after it, even though Pipes continued to trend smaller, I think Pipe Classic definitely favors a larger piece that feels not just like a pipe, but an actual installation. Something that takes up a fair amount of space.
Yeah, I agree. Devin Crunk did an amazing job of kind of hitting that note with his piece. The incredible like wall mounted shark, or not shark. It was a some kind of
A
fish.
whale shark, right?
No,
I know.
it wasn't a shark at all. I'm not talking about Joe
Okay.
Peters. I'm talking
yeah,
about Devin Krunkelstein. I forget it was lionfish.
Yeah, the lionfish.
Okay,
And
word.
I was shocked how few votes he got. It was like the whole judging community just turned on Crunk at that moment.
Aw.
I mean, he made arguably one of the most spectacular pieces I've ever seen in Pipe Classic history. That wall, that lionfish was like, it was gigantic. covered your entire wall. It was spectacular. And the fact that he didn't even place just shocked me. And that just shows how, the pipe, the judges, it's all made up of other pipe makers and store owners, and it's all inside people, so it's so funny to see and interesting to see where they turn their focus.
Yeah, man, they
Cheers.
canceled Crunk. No, I'm just playing.
Aw.
Just playing. But he'd already won a bunch, hadn't he? And I think that was part of the factor there, perhaps.
The most winning competitor ever in Pipe Classic history.
Exactly, yeah. Just to be clear, it wasn't like he came in and was like, womp womp. He's one of the most decorated homies. So, yeah, there might have been a factor of like, do we give it to him again? Fuck this guy, Yeah.
Yeah, he was the person, by the way, he was the first person to ever come back and defend their title and win.
Wow, that's impressive. It really is.
And that wasn't until Pipe Classic 13 or something like that.
Man, yeah, he's a great guy and a really amazing flame worker. Yeah, he definitely brought the heat. So that's interesting to hear. But yeah, I was surprised that it didn't place. But they were all so good. How can you be like surprised? But you know what I mean. It was just so good.
It was.
So yeah, here is another one of these offset punnies, allowing him to kind of get the base on this proper now. So this is one of the smaller splashes, and I think it's cool that he had like kind of his technical plans out. So this piece was, really well thought out of the scale of each one and the end result, and it's cool to see that paper and then the end product.
So I was looking at the judges' passes. Back to that, Tito. How many days do people? Is there like a last minute, or people can buy up at the door if they're still there? Or?
Yeah, we do sell out eventually, but we're not sold out yet, and people can buy them at the door. And it is free to watch. You can come into the Burn Gallery and just watch the competition. But you definitely want the judges' pass. That's what opens you up to all the parties and all the after events. There's one every single day. Pipe Classic's really almost like it's almost designed like a 24-hour a day event. I mean, there's something to do almost every minute, and so you can get judges' passes right up to the end. And then we also have the Dab and Dinner Pass, which is a much more involved way to experience Pipe Classic, and that gets you to the evening dinners. We have these sunset dinners that are catered by Chef Jean-Robert Davignon, and sets you up for sunset dinner on the lake. And it's a great time to mingle with a bunch of pipe scene insiders and campus scene insiders, and in a really, really beautiful place. And we do that every single night of Pipe Classic, Monday through Friday.
Yeah. That was beautiful. I really prioritized filming, so I only made it to one of those at the very end when there wasn't something going on. But then it was so beautiful. I was so glad I was able to attend one of those. And yeah, I've been sharing some of the footage from that night and the beautiful sunset out there. It's truly,
And the dab bar, so the dab bar is set up at the whole dinner. So you walk up, you have catered dabs by Ben Davin, who's awesome.
Yep.
And he also sets up at the Thursday night and Friday night parties too. So you definitely get a lot of value back for sure.
Yep, no doubt. Dab bars are fun, man. That dude, he knows what he's doing, man. It's like it's almost like a religious ceremony.
It makes a really big difference being dabbed by somebody who really understands the science and the history and everything about it. It totally makes a difference. It's something else.
I agree. Yeah, if you haven't had a dab from that guy, trust me. I mean, plenty of y'all out there are connoisseurs, so it's probably very similar when you treat a friend to something like that. But you know what I mean, and he really, yeah. I mean, it's a crazy job to have, but once you actually sit down with this guy, it's like, damn, man, there's a whole nother game to this dabbing thing.
Yeah, he takes it very seriously.
Yeah.
And every year at Pipe Classic, I always learn something new. Every single year, like some new version of oil that's out or some new dab or whatever. It's always every year.
Right? Yeah, man. I'm always like 10 years behind, dude. I'm still dabbing off of titanium. I'm just kidding, man. I gotta, but I just have like the hybrid e-nail thing, where it's got the quartz dish, and I like that. But I'm not, all my dogs are into the slurpers and the this and the that, and don't get me wrong, it's amazing. They're clairvoyant, But
That
yeah.
detail has a rich history, though. The way it started and changed, and
Yeah.
and it was fascinating to watch.
Yeah, man. I actually had one of the original like 50 e-nails that Highly Educated made, and then it
Hmm.
became super valuable. And then right when D-nail started, I bought a prototype D-nail for like really cheap, and then sold the HI, the numbered one, because then it was like a collector's item. Then, man, I paid for like the Mattis Cookie class with the proceeds from that. I was like, hell yeah, this thing is worth double the money right now. Crazy. So
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah, man, it was a good e-nail investment.
And they have a big part of Pipe Classic history too, as sponsors. And first it was Stevie I met from Destinations, who worked for D-nail, and then Willie, who kept it going. And but now I haven't heard from those guys. I'm not sure what's going on with them now.
Right, yeah, there may have been some kind of whatever it is tussle,
Hmm.
and yeah, I'm not sure who's involved anymore. I think there's a Brian maybe. I'm not 100%. Yeah, my information could probably out of date now too. In any event, yo guys, so what you saw there, he notched the bottom in to give him like a landing point, and then added this solid drop coming out of the middle, and really clever use of the hand torch to sneak in there. It reminds me of Eugene doing the marble posted up in the cup kind of thing. Sometimes you've got to create the setup, and then just get in there with the hand torch and do what you got to do to make sure that the seal is really nice. And here's a great example of that. So yeah, it's like the drop in the middle is rising out of the splash.
Hmm.
Really amazing. And we were talking about these sculptors and how they use a reference, and you could see it in the technical drawing. He kind of has this look he's going for, but he's also really paid attention to, I'm sure that this man pulled up mad pictures of water droplets and really studied, the exact spacing and all of that. And like any sculptor, a good sculptor has found the right ways that just tickle the brain. And when you really looked at it comprehensively, that thing just sang. It really did look like exactly what he was trying to capture. And like Tito, you were saying how hard that is to do in glass, man. It's like it really is. It's the
Yeah, I
wrong.
agree
Yeah.
with you. He must have paid such attention to detail, and I agree with you. He must have spent a lot of time analyzing photos of each of those steps, because they just looked so perfect and realistic.
Yeah, it really did. So here's another one of these, and it was hard to capture at that moment, but what he opened the hole a little offset, not just to the center. So when he did that kind of roll in the marver and ream out trick with the jacks, it opened up at an angle. So that's how he achieved that initial distribution of material, I guess you would say. Pretty cool trick, to be honest with you, because it leaves almost like a scoop look, and you know what I mean. So just if you just think about that and roll that trick out, and boom, now you've got this nice little scooped end. There's a lot of possibilities for that beyond just water. Yeah, just really careful application of heat here. I mean, he's blasting it, but that's to distribute the heat over the wide area with that control, so that when he's pulling this out, the heat is tapering in. If you didn't heat this that much through these steps, I just don't think you'd get that organic look. So it's just something to pay attention to, exactly how much he's heating at once when he's doing these moves. I really think that having so much hot, all the surrounding glass is kind of just naturally tugging with it. There you go, pulling out the little tiny ones. And then here's some, gravity certainly playing a role here as he keeps it just held straight down and hot. You could just see it just stretching out, just really organically. It's as close to wizardry, kind of thing as you could see in this glass. Carrie, is there like a Harry Potter spell that turns glass into water?
Aguamenti.
Okay, word.
There we go.
That sounds pretty official. You came up with that so fast that it's like more evidence, because whenever we'd be on a hike and stuff, Carrie's legitimately like knows all this stuff about botany. What, you a horticulture major or what was it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so like, but she's always telling me the names of these plants, and I'm just like, you made that up. You know, kind of thing.
I was eyeing the beetle tattoo on his arm there. I was like, it's a pretty good anatomical beetle he's got going on.
Okay, all right.
He's got a tattoo on an actual beetle. Anyway.
Yes, yeah.
That's cool though, Karen. I'm diving deep into agronomy these days. It's been really fascinating.
Nice. Yeah, it's very interesting. By the time I was done with all the science classes, I almost went pre-med, but then realized that was not.
That's a whole other direction.
Yeah.
Carrie's a love doctor. And look at this. A lot of heat, but just the right angle with those jacks. And look at this thing. It's splashing out. It's crazy. Like I said, this is wizardry. I'm so stoked to be able to share this, Tito. Thank you again for making this possible.
Yeah, for sure.
And watching him too, that's definitely one of the Pipe Classic secrets. Like, making everything out of one color enables you to make something really big, really fast. Because, I mean, look, 12 hours is a very small amount of time. So you have to get something really substantial quickly. And so I like that technique of using one color.
Yeah, totally.
Makes for a very cohesive end product, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. He's not like Chaka over there spending 6 hours on the can. The Blizzard. No, just playing, man. His piece was absolutely amazing too. But it's funny to to consider the different approaches, and
it was spectacular, but he didn't win.
No, he didn't win. But
I do love that.
Yeah.
By the way, Chaka's one of my favorite people anywhere, by the way, too.
I love that, man. He's great. It's like, man, honestly, it's hard to coordinate with artists, and some of these cats, I just don't know them that well, so I'm almost a little intimidated to be like, can I have an hour and a half of your time, please, lace face? Whatever. And, but Christian, man, he's somebody I've had the pleasure of knowing for years now, and he's always just been a great guy, and he's so well spoken, so I was happy to reach out to him, and I was so happy that he was able to join us, because it adds a lot to our discussion and to this, I can John Madden this thing, but they can add insight that I wasn't even thinking about, and so yeah, it was a real pleasure to have him, and yeah, he really is one of the cooler cats in our industry. Pun intended.
Yeah, and if you, hopefully he'll be here. And so, yeah, if you have a chance to sit down and talk with him, even just for a few minutes, his perspectives on life are so interesting, and I love talking to him. He's really intelligent.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Super smart, super well spoken, eloquent, I would even say.
Great.
All right, so here we have one more of these, I believe. And this was like a super scale one that I thought you guys would like to see. It has a similar, but a very different twist on the way he opens this up. And you can see he already flared that end. And this is not going to be one that has a drop in the middle, And yeah, he's got those really nice Herbert Arnold flask claws. Those are really great if you have a foot or, a bottom of a rig or something with that, like that. I mean, we call it a beaker, but it's, a flask or whatever. So the flask grabber is the one, and they match that notch, and they're just very secure. You can tighten them up very tight, and those are really good grabbers. The the issue with those grabbers and all Herbert Arnold grabbers in general is that they're very size specific. So it works incredibly well. But if your thing is a little smaller or a little bigger than its specified range, it will not be as trustworthy. You might get away with a little bit of skew, but for the most part, they work incredibly well. But you kind of need like 2 or 3 of them if you really want to have the full range of things that you might normally do. So, but if you're just making a specific type of beaker, and you caliper the base of it, and you get one where it fits into that range, it's going to be a very trustworthy, essentially lathe straight handle. So yeah, those are very recommended. And yeah, I was shooting this from the other side. Either somebody was like in the gopher hole or on the other side, or I just might have been filming Joe Peters and I saw this and I was like, sorry, dog.
It's the holy of holies.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, so check this out. He's going to open up a hole in the side here that he can then cut up the side through. I thought this was a really clever approach to get a drop that's, you know, really large and really kind of with a different splash pattern essentially. So here we go, big slice. There y'all saw that. Even some centripetal force there used to widen that opening a bit. It was just really quick, just womp womp womp. You can really see the skill in the way this dude works glass. You know, like he has like a Venetian sensibility, but you know all the sculpting bona fides as well. The guy really, you can tell he's talented and just very, very competent manipulator of glass.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is not only did he capture the motion of the event of the dropping pebble, but he was able to have a elegance to the whole project that was so beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, handles off. Now he's free to really manipulate this whole blank in a different way. And I thought it would be cool to progress through these things from, you know, in scale. So we started with this little tiny bubble cap that still hits the same note, and now we're scaled up to an absolutely massive drop here. And so here, yeah, a lot of heat, but doing it in a very controlled way. Directing most of it to where he wants it to droop more, you know. And a nice tapered heat. Looks like he needed a glove there for a second, man. That thing is like catching the flame at times. Shooting it back into his hand.
Mm-hmm.
There again, those really quick little moves to give it those more subtle ripples or whatever, man. Just another trick to nail this aesthetic. It's all just really awesome to see it go down.
Also, I was laughing when you're talking about burning yourself, and you can't show it. You got to move right through it, because what you can't see is like everybody's right on top of them. Everybody's right there. Like the window's end of his bench, so there's not much of a buffer space. Like everybody's right in your space.
Yeah, no doubt. Can't be doing that all like thing, you know. not in front of the judges, at least. I remember this moment. I don't even want to name names, but one dude needed a pair of tweezers because they were both working, and the other worker had them pretty close to their torch, you know, and it was pretty hot. And it wasn't like nothing crazy. That guy grabbed it barehanded, but he handed it to the other guy, and that guy was just like, eh! So he dropped that shit. It was so funny. I still think about that moment sometimes and laugh.
Nice.
Yeah, names will be protected or whatever. To protect the innocent.
There's no hiding the realities when talk like that.
Yeah. It was no, I'm just playing. I'm not going to name names. So all right, so pulled another hole there. A little hard to see at that angle, but yeah, now we can see what he's doing here. He's pulling that other side out. Potentially adding some glass, actually. There we go.
It's a nice thing about probably get away with that.
What's that?
The nice thing about that color, he could probably get away with that.
Oh yeah.
That's the other thing too, is you're going so big and things are moving so fast and you're under the clock, and so choosing colors that you can take away, or rather you can add back to, is definitely advantageous.
Yeah, for sure. These seem to flow into each other pretty well. Not enough to muck up the aesthetic or anything. Might be more of an issue if he had like wildly different batches of it or something, but it seems like he's got, really consistent pieces there. And I tell you, man, material like this, if you can do it and it's like you got a good stock, of something, because sometimes these are batch to batch, can be a little more shocky or a little, more saturation on the cobalt, that sort of thing. So sometimes it's a smart move to be like, yeah, I'll just, go back and get the whole case.
Yeah, or move to simpler colors. There can be this big draw to have whatever the hypiest, newest color is, but you know what? Like I think, the majority of times when a competitor uses experimental color, something they haven't had experience with, it almost always works out bad. Almost every time.
That's interesting. That's a great point. Like, well, they sent me over. What? Go ahead.
That original Serendipity must have taken out at least like 6 Pipe Classic competitor pieces when it first came out.
That's funny. And yeah, so I thought that was a cool move. He went up with the tweezers and kind of segmented it to give it the drop that, it's separating into multiple drops almost at that moment kind of thing. And he did all that at once. And I think that's to help it as he's working it. It's just going to look more and more natural, as opposed to like setting in the first one and then cooking it and going in for the back,
Awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
This is like the equivalent of when like a really amazing chef makes something from very simple ingredients.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, well said. Great analogy.
I just pulled up I have no idea where this is going, so I had to look to see what this finished piece looked like because I hadn't seen it yet.
Okay.
I put a lot of thought into this.
Yeah. Usually we show it in the beginning, but
it's also huge. It's gigantic.
It's enormous.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see it shortly here, though. And for the, we're pre-recording this, but for the viewers, they'll be seeing it in the thumbnail the whole time before the show and everything, so.
Right, yeah.
They'll have a rough idea. I might edit in the finished video afterwards. We'll see. Like, we'll have to have a fake conversation later to edit over that, So, like, all right, guys, so just pretend we were still talking. No, just play. All right. So it looks like he's getting another handle on here now. Look at that thing already. Give it a little annealing flame, as Chesbray would say. Yeah, and I think it's probably a good idea with a piece this scale to give it that extra that annealing flame, because at some parts were getting incredibly hot, and other parts were probably getting fully cooled down towards the base. So taking that extra minute there to get that all happy is probably a good thing. And I was saying, this isn't like a shocky color or anything, but he's doing a lot to it. He's asking a lot of it in this moment. So
yeah, it's interesting to see some competitors go with that technique and keep the whole thing hot the whole time, and others just do the opposite and just laser focus in from spot to spot
sure.
as the piece gets to save time. It's interesting to see how they all approach that.
Yeah, no doubt. And here we saw he just heated the whole thing up and gave it this nice stretch. So I think if he had rushed into that, it might have been unhappy at the base, because it was just so much colder. So yeah, I think here's kind of a hybrid approach. He let that get cold, in a way that wasn't really going to be problematic, but when it was time to get back to it, that extra annealing flame. And yeah, look at that now. Look at how much more action it has, and it was interesting how much he did before he did this big move and radically changed the shape.
Yeah, it really did.
This piece is just incredible, looking at the finished piece and trying to figure out how he got there. This like fills in so many holes, but doesn't make it like, oh yeah, that's how you do it.
Right, it's one of those things, he's making it look easy, but
yeah.
Mine be like, this is water of the glizzy variety, or whatever, Y'all seen that new Puffco ad? I know you did, Carrie. Tito, did you see that new Puffco ad, man? Oh my God,
Yeah.
you have to go to their page and see it, dude. It's actually one of the funniest commercials I've ever seen.
Are you talking about where the owner talking about him?
No, man. It's a completely ridiculous setup where it's like a couple taking a dab, and then the dude all of a sudden is going back to like some 1800s looking shit, and he's talking about the dabs. It's all, dude. I don't want to spoil it. It's fucking hilarious.
Okay, cool.
It's truly a well done ad, dude. Like it's like a Super Bowl level ad for a Puffco.
Yeah, those guys do a great job with their marketing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. And like I was saying, when you posted it in Torch Talk, man, I think it's great the way they've kind of, they make this device that isn't, all glass, but they've really made it, a great kind of hybrid approach, and made it possible for people to do really good business with that. And so I can't please everyone, but to me, man, the way they've gone about this is pretty fucking cool. I think it's great.
Yeah. I've been shocked by that company. At first I was confused. I didn't really get it. I can't believe how well they've done at pulling everybody into the product and getting the glass scene into it. It's really impressive stuff. I gotta commend them.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know all the details yet, but Scott Griffin posted his tool for making those, and he said it's part of an official program. Like, I don't know all the details, but there's some kind of thing where they're even help promoting it. I know they have some kind of made for Puffco thing on their own site where people can sell it through them, and it seems like they're doing a good job of making it all work and putting money in everybody's pockets, which at the end of the day is,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, not to sound too cynical or anything. Of course, the whole point here is that people can buy a much more artistic piece for their thing. I just mean to say that the way they've gone about enabling that and encouraging it, that's what I mean is tight. And at the end of the day, the formula that works is that people are making money with it. So, but
I remember when when carts first came on the scene, and I remember as a glass artist just being super freaked out by that.
Yeah, for sure.
Holy crap! Like even as the cannabis scene grows and grows and grows, we still, pipe makers, manage to just be this little tiny microcosm in this bigger scene, and those carts just flung us right back into the periphery again. And so for Puffco to include the glass scene in this, I thought was good. I thought that was for sure.
Yeah, it's a great perspective on it. Yeah, because carts, man. I mean, they got their time and place, but like that's not. Yeah, it would be. It's just a good thing that people haven't just completely gravitated to sucking on some little tiny fucking thing. It doesn't.
Totally.
Yeah, we're trying to suck on big things out here, dogs. No.
it also titanium nail. That's when things got real weird. And I remember talking to Slinger about it and just, what the fuck? Like we try to make these glass pieces to make this, really clean smoke, and then everybody goes back to taking dabs on titanium. It's like, what? Like, what just happened? Right. And it was just really bizarre time back then. I couldn't understand it.
Yeah, for sure. Ben Dabin hadn't come along yet and figured it all out for us or whatever.
That was before Club Band. That was like in those days. I remember it changed so quick. It was like all these various contraptions, the swing arm and the and obviously the dome with the top hole or the side hole or all the weird variations, and it wasn't until the banger that things calmed down.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I've got a whole Tupperware thing full of random ass domes and shit like that from those days. And when I was an apprentice, when I first started, the very first thing I made was actually glass nails. They were just Boro, but everybody wanted a nail with the rig, so it was actually one of the very first things I learned to do was to weld the little 3 dots around the rod and then smush the end, and God knows how many of those fucking things I made.
Oh yeah, that was one of our items in glass wholesale for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and they worked okay. I mean, it's not quartz, but probably better than titanium.
Lasted 4 or 5 times.
Right, yeah, they did shaz up pretty quick, as I recall. Yeah. It is a good beginner exercise, though. Just learning to apply the same amount of material with each dot and then weld them in properly and then do little smushies on the end.
Yeah, it is good. It was a good starting item.
Yeah. Every now and then I'll be in my old pictures, and there'll be like a picture of a graphite pad with like 100 nails on it, and I'll just think back like I was pretty proud of those fucking things.
Right.
Yeah.
And here, glory.
Here's this incredible piece. Look at this, you guys. Here's the 10 moments, and some of them dip below the water. But look at how cool that we saw this get constructed, but look at how it came out when the lights were installed and everything was actually in its place. And there's a number of functionals, but that was one of the cooler ones that Sherlock interspliced in there. But yeah, huge shout outs to Certo for being as cool as a cucumber with the camera in his face. And Tito, thank you again, man, for everything you've done to make this incredible event possible. That's pushed our industry forward, and it's wild. It's coming into its finale here at the beautiful Burn Gallery. And thank you so much for joining us for this. Look at this beautiful place you live, man. It's really nice. It really was.
It's gorgeous.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
so Doug, what's up? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said my pleasure. Thank you, man.
Oh, no. Mine too, man. This is, it's been an awesome month of being able to share so much of this heat and, really have the opportunity to clue some people in about what's going on here. And I don't know, apparently Reels too are just blowing up, and I can't believe how that Peters one did, man. It's like 14 or 15,000 views. Like, whoa. And it's actually something that I'm going to take a lot more time with now, and it just took me a while to get a process down to do this, and sponsors like this that y'all are seeing out there, why I can potentially maybe take a day off of work it's taken quite a while to figure out how to take this much longer content, in a different ratio and all of that. but I really do want to push the reels. I think it's the fact is, dude. Apparently, 15,000 people have a minute and a half or whatever, and 3,000 people have 2 hours. So it's you kind of got to go where the eyes are. So that's what I'm kind of trying to do here. And again, guys, these companies you're seeing, they're what make all of this, or at least the financial side of it and the support side possible, along with some of you guys out there on Torch Pass. I'll throw you back up to Tito. Homie, thank you again. Yeah, this whole competition was incredible. And yeah, I envy anybody who's going to be able to come out and catch this finale, because it's going to be something really special. So, hell yeah. Any parting words for us, man?
Just thank you for having this platform and making this platform for the pipe scene.
Sure.
I think the scene really needs you real bad, dude, and I really like what you do.
Thank you.
But also just want to just thank GTT and Mood Mats as our two official sponsors, and GTT since the very beginning.
Yeah.
Pipe Classic definitely would not exist like the way you know it if it wasn't for GTT. And they haven't told me what it is, and I actually purposely don't want to know. But they're releasing something very exciting at Pipe Classic.
Oh wow.
And I'm so excited to see it's what they wanted to release at the Cyberpipe Showdown, but couldn't do it. They ran out of time, and had a death in the family too, which was really sad. But
that's sad to hear. Yeah.
So, but they finally are doing it now. So I don't know what it is, but it's going to be spectacular.
Oh,
and
wow.
And my friend Mike from Mood Mats, who is a very inspiring person to me, and I'm so thankful to both of them to keep it going. And we're going to send this last one like everyone expects. So please come and be a part of it.
Hell yeah. Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really do appreciate you, man. I'm going to say my goodbyes and then send you up to Carrie. Homies, thanks for tuning in. I'm with Tito on this 1,000%, man. Get to that thing. It's truly special. I don't know what else I can do other than spend a whole month telling you how incredible it is, and hopefully I'll take that shit seriously. But no, for real, yeah, I'm so grateful to have been a part of it, and yeah, I'll leave y'all with that, and I'm grateful to y'all for being part of this too out there in the audience. So hell yeah, I send you off to Carrie and Tito.
Thanks again, everybody. Thanks again so much, Tito, for taking the time to be here with us and give us a little bit more insight into the Pipe Classic thing and what it is, and inspiring people to want to get up there. Like, everybody feeling that FOMO here. You got like a month to figure this out yet? Maybe
2 weeks or something, right?
2 weeks. Get on it. Yeah. I'm just like,
and no help this year, so everybody's got to come up and hang out.
Yeah. Get up there. And thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks everybody here in chat. Make sure you head over to the Pipe Classic website, the Burn Gallery, see what's going on, see if you can't fit this into your schedule, because seriously, this is a not to be missed event. And we appreciate all of you for tuning in. Thanks so much to Mike for editing this footage and providing it and organizing this little party that we've got going on. And we'll see you next week, I suppose, huh?
Yep, that's right. Hell yeah, my pleasure. All right, y'all. Peace.
Thanks, guys. Great luck to you.